Okay, this is Ringwalk Media in association with Well Ice Therapy, Steel Hub Management and HJK Properties. We're getting there.
Shout out to all the partners.
Eddie Hearn, really good to see you, and a massive fight week ahead.
Yeah, really excited. I mean, yesterday when you turn up at a workout like that and you see the crowd and you see people with the flags and the signed gloves and the pictures, like you realise what it means to them and what it means to this country. And Katie Taylor is a hero of this country, heroine, and she's got it all to do on Saturday. I think the atmosphere will be incredible because the first time around, everyone just presumed she'd win. In boxing, they didn't. But now, in boxing, not a lot of people give her a chance in this fight. But the roof will be lifted off the Free Arena because they'll be behind, this time, an underdog.
And it's the first time in her career that she's coming as an underdog, and we've noticed this week that she's been very reserved and sort of just kept out of the limelight. She's very focused, isn't she?
Super focused. I mean, sometimes you start thinking about, did we do things wrong last time by doing all the media a week out, and she's doing a 7-minute ring walk but it's difficult when you come for the first time back to Ireland. This time, none of that. Just conserve my energy. You will see an unbelievable performance from Katie Taylor on Saturday, but you'll also see an unbelievable performance from Chantel, and it's just who can gut it out, who can smart it out, and who can make it count. And that's what high-level sport's all about. In the moment, producing something incredible, and both girls have the ability to do it.
Do you think that there's, a chance, a possibility of a trilogy with this fight?
Yeah, if Katie wins, because whatever happens, the fight's going to be unbelievable. It would never be boring, it would never be messy, it would just be a war. So if Katie wins, by far the biggest fight, by far the biggest victory of her career, so would set up a big thriller. And I think if she was to win, we really have to do Croak Park. She deserves that. So we shall see.
And a stacked undercard, as always, as you always do in Ireland. A fight I particularly like is Paddy Donovan versus Danny Bull. I mean, that's got the makings of an absolute smasher.
It's a really good, sometimes I talk about trade fights, and the reason I call that a trade fight is Danny Bull's very good. Danny Bull can win a British title now. Paddy Donovan has long been talked about as one of the top talents, and Andy Lee says he's this and he's the future of that. But until you get in the trenches against someone that's coming to win, it's difficult to really see. I love Reece Mould against Gary Cully because, Reece Mould was kind of putting the knife in saying, those demons you don't just overcome in your next fight, walking out, struggling at the weight, blah, blah, blah. And Gary Cully said, well, I saw you get flattened as well against Lee Wood. So it's just a massive fight for Gary Cully. Talk about Katie's career being on the line. I mean, Gary Cully's career is on the line at a young age, back to back. If he was to get knocked out on Saturday, I mean, it's horrendous. But it's a really good 50-50 fight.
Yeah, I mean, where would he go? Because he's changed gyms, he's gone over to the Rotunda, he's got different coaches. He says to us that he's, feeling the best he is. If he loses, surely it's kind of game over for Gary.
And, the question is still there, 135 or 140. He's had all the tests that everyone says he can make 135 efficiently. He's still got to do it. You can imagine at this stage probably a kilo or two to come off overnight. And Reece Mould, who's coming up from really super feather and beyond, will be, I think Gary called him a skinny fat man. But what he'll be is fueled, hydrated, and ready for 12 hard rounds.
And then Sky Nicholson, she's got the chance to get mandatory for Serrano. I mean, that's a massive fight, first of all. But then, obviously, what does she do? Because Serrano is sort of saying she only wants to box 3-minute rounds from now on. The governing bodies are saying they're not going to recognise that, so the belts could be distributed, couldn't they?
I think this is a tough fight for Sky. And all the talk is about Serrano. When you do that, all of a sudden, these are the kind of fights that become big banana skins. Because Lucy Wildheart, who is just so overjoyed to be here, is going to come out like a train on Saturday night. It should suit Sky. She's got to make a statement. But she's interim world champion. If she wins, she will be called as the mandatory for Amanda Serrano, who is a living legend of the sport. And every young fighter in that division should be chasing Amanda Serrano. And if you get called as mandatory, if you beat her for one belt, you become undisputed in one fight, right? Which is But I know there's a bit of a fallout between the WBC, and Amanda's earned the right to do whatever she wants. But for Sky, it's not the fact that it's target Amanda Serrano. She's the one. She is the queen of the division. So you should be charging, not out of disrespect, just because she's one of the greatest of all time. So, but you got to deal with this. All of a sudden, you start looking past this, and you get beat by Lucy Wildheart, and you're in a bad position. So she's got to deal with it and do the business on Saturday, and she should do it in style if she's going to be able to compete with the likes of Amanda Serrano.
We'll be very quick because I know there's a couple of people waiting. Obviously, it was good to hear that Conor Benn was about to go out and fight again, but we heard this morning that the opponents failed the drug test. Ironic and not good news.
No, I mean, you can't quite believe it. Part of me wants to tell you that it's good because we're doing more testing and people are getting, caught. But then it's been a couple of months now since we've had a positive test. I was getting quite excited. And, to come back and see Conor Benn's opponent is, like I said, you can't really make it up. So we didn't know about the ban. And we've reached out to the commission because it was a commission test, not one of our private tests that's reported to everybody. So, madness. But
are you going to try and get him an opponent?
Who?
Conor.
Yeah, I mean, Conor Benn, we will just want to make the Eubank fight, but he's losing a bit of patience. He wants to fight any of the big names at 147. So we'll see what happens over the next few days.
And then lastly for me, obviously a monumental press conference last week. You and Frank sat on the top table, which is something I never thought I'd see in quite a few years. It's great for boxing going forwards that you're working together, and also a great card out there in Saudi going to happen.
Yeah, and I think it was just a case of we moved so quickly, we couldn't kind of let the history or the beef, if you like, get in the way. We were just given our instructions by Saudi Arabia, and everyone moved to land the opportunities for our fighters, which is what matters. So massive card December 23rd, and hopefully opens the doors to do more business together.
Listen, Eddie, we'll let you go. There's lots of people here. We appreciate your time as always, and good luck on Saturday.
No worries, thank you.